Hong Kong is back again and better than ever. Among the 80,000 visitors at this year's Art Basel was my friend Bernhard Schwartla nder, a global health envoy who enjoys different cultures. Bernhard, welcome back to Hong Kong. It's been about 4 years since you were here in this great city, but how does it feel this time around after a pandemic? But the pandemic is still ongoing.
Well, the virus hasn't disappeared. But I would think that the epidemic has entered a different stage, so we can, for the time being, we can actually live as if, the virus wouldn't be with us quite that dramatically. But it feels great. We first of all, of course, it's so great that we can travel again, that we can return home without quarantine measures, that we can just get in a car and go to our apartment. And the same on this side, of course. And we had, a number of reasons to come here. One, to see wonderful friends in the city that we couldn't see for so long because travel was so restricted because of the pandemic. But also there was Art Basel, which is a great event, and to see all the artists and the booming scene also here in China and in Hong Kong. It really was great fun, and walking around with many people, it has the buzz back, we feel. Of course, we can't really feel it the same way that people feel it who lived here, but we really enjoyed it.
You mentioned Art Basel, the world's greatest art show, but does it feel here like a global city or a local city? One doesn't need to be better than the other, but which way does it lean towards?
Hong Kong is a unique place. When we come here, on the one hand, it is clearly part of China, of Asia. It's a booming city, but it's like no other city. We walk through the buildings, to the streets with this very tall building, and we have completely new modern buildings with very old buildings, which are a little bit rotten. So whenever I come here, I feel like exploring something and getting into the swing of this place. So it's a special place, like no other. It combines, it's at the intersection between the West and the East. I think that's a real value, and it may be even more important today than ever, is to build the bridges, to connect the different cultures, and that is what I think also Hong Kong could be a picture of.
As someone who has been a part of the world in Europe, in the United States, where you work for some of the great institutions, at the UN, and now living in China, what do you think Hong Kong should do, and what do you think its people should do in terms of carving a future for themselves, in terms of shaping that future for all humanity?
One of the most important things for me is to culture diversity as a value. For me, that has always been incredibly important, because there's not just one approach to life, one approach to management, one approach to decision making. There's different societies, different cultures have different approaches, and to bring those together, for me, was very important. It was one thing I enjoyed working for the United Nations, because by definition we bring different people in, and we're very deliberate about that. And I could learn from that. Personally, I can profit from that. So I think Hong Kong could be one of those melting pots where the different cultures come, thrive, learn from each other, and through that, again, as I said, build the bridges between cultures, between places in the world. So that would be, I think, a great thing.
Bernhard, thanks very much for joining us here in Hong Kong. We'll see you again.
Thank you very much, James.
Please give a warm welcome for James Chow.
I'm James Chow, host of the China Current, with a glimpse into tomorrow's world and stories about the human experience everywhere.